So, they're making a Homestuck anime. They finally got around to it. Today, the Viziepop Homestuck animated pilot came out, and that's what we're talking about. Because it was actually good. Well, that was rude. I actually did enjoy it. I enjoyed it. There were a few things that I was kind of iffy about, but overall, I think that this was a very promising pilot, and I think this has the potential to be a very good series. I I think the best thing about this pilot is the animation. It's very bouncy and fun, and there's always something happening. It's always visually interesting, and that's like a complicated thing to adapt for Homestuck because I love Homestuck. Homestuck is not a direct adaptation. Even like the fucking dubs of the comic don't really work as well because so much of it is stylistically in that it's a webcomic. Like it is most Homestuck pages are a panel and then a thousand or so words of characters having a conversation over instant messenger, and you can't do that. That would not work animated. So there are these abridged conversations of people talking over the phone, and even then, they like how they do that is they show the characters like on split screen and frequently like interacting. Like John will reach over and take something from Dave, or will get annoyed and like swing his hammer at Dave off screen as Dave dodges, or they'll push on the barriers, like the line. Ooh, a master ball. They'll push on the line separating them. Uh, and I really enjoy that. I think it visually looks great and is a good way to adapt the comic because you can't adapt the comic normally. One of the other things they do is that there's a lot of minor things that are relevant for the plot, but would take like 10 minutes to explain and go fully in depth on what's happening and the mechanics of it. And they interestingly don't. They do not like they just brush past a lot of the things that are happening. A lot of the times we'll see like John just doing something and like he's on the phone, he's talking to Rose or Dave, and as he's doing that, we see him like sorting his inventory. And if you pay attention and have read the comic, admittedly, if you pay attention, you can kind of get what he's doing. And that's interesting. It's not focusing on a lot of the stuff. It's just having minor background details that will eventually come together and have something. Assuming it gets picked, eventually these minor background details will lead to something, which is, I think that's the way to do it. I don't think it would be good if we had a 10-minute scene of John playing around messing with his inventory, because that doesn't really like a lot of the reason Homestuck's the way it is. A lot of the comic rests on the fact that it's a forum game. It was people inputting commands and then seeing that blow up in John's face and things go kind of astray. You know, uh, the original comic like doesn't really work as a thing that's adapted, and I'm not explaining things well, but you have to. Ooh, Blissey is the Snorlax. You have to adjust things. You have to. Uh, you can't do a straight adaptation, but you have to get the same feeling and meaning. Like, and what this comic is very good at from this pilot, what the pilot was very good at was capturing the sense of being a kid and hanging out with your friends and doing just random weird cartoonish shit. That is what Act 1 of Homestuck was, and they captured that. I very much like a lot of the casting. I think Rose and Jade's actresses in particular stand out as great. Karkat gets one line, which is him breaking the fourth wall and cursing the pilot out because it only gave him one line, but I think he did very good with that one line. I don't know about Dave's actor. He's fine. And Toby Fox was surprisingly decent. I actually did kind of enjoy Toby Fox's John more than I thought. I think the casting is good. The narrator is also good, who is presumably and can we talk about the narrator where like John and Dave are like interacting with the narrator and adding this new plot thing. Like Dave's like, dude, just mute the narrator so you don't have to hear him, which is a good way to handle the narration of having it still be a thing. And Homestuck was very big on having gags about like random dumb plot elements actually being physical things in the world, like the inventory management actually impacts the plot and has things happen because of it. So yeah, the narrator is physical and the characters are aware of and ignore, which I guess does have precedence. This is like in the epilogues, but John reacting to the narrator talking to him has happened before in Homestuck media, so it's fine. Although, like, normally, they normally didn't react to the narrator much in the original comic. Like, I'm pretty sure, as far as I can remember, the only time, well, Calborn talks to the narrator a lot, but Calborn's weird. Like, the only time they really interact with the narrator is there's a bit in I'm Putting You on Speaker Crab where Vriska curses out the narrator, and you can just see everyone else as all the rest of her crew are just staring at her, completely confused. They think she's having a psychotic incident. They think she's hallucinating because who is she talking to? What are you fucking talking about, Vriska? But yeah, they interact with the narrator and say to mute him. And okay, what else is on here? It starts with I took notes on it so I could talk about it properly. It starts with the mayor. I really like that. It didn't occur to me, but starting with WV going through the desert and coming across the command tower and like giving things to John, which although I don't know, it doesn't really work as well because we don't actually have those commands on screen. But we get our Zeus smell poop lord gag, which that's just a non sequitur. It's gotta be so confusing to people who haven't read the original comic. Just reading it and just having like John yell at the narrator, "My name is not Zeusmel Poop Lord. My name is John Egbert, and I have a lot of undiagnosed mental illness that is going to cause so much problems in the sequels, but not very much in the original, so things are good now." Like, I'm rambling. Who do I want to be my cut servant? I guess you. Because you... Alright, I taught it water spout because I realized I could and have unlimited TMs. But yeah, I just liked it. Let's see, what else? John gets annoyed when the narrator like criticizes programming. We did it. They blurred all the posters and for Little Monsters changed the artwork, but at least we're still seeing these classic posters. It's gonna be, there's so much in it, like with the silly decks and like the strife specifists, like that's gotta be complete non sequitur, like confusing to anyone reading this for the first time. But I like that they're including the weird stuff. Because, wait, hold on. Is it relevant for the... Yeah, because it's relevant for Dave that he gets his strife specificity, like his weapon broken. And because of that, he can only wield broken weapons is a big thing for Dave. So they have to include the like, oh, John, you picked up a hammer and now you can only ever wield hammers again. I like that we're getting little bits of... I don't know if we're going to get, like, Rashomon flashbacks and we'll see, like, Act 5 and 6 from Rose and Dave's perspective if it gets picked up. Or if we're just going to do, like, we've seen what's going on with Rose while she's talking to John. Like, we see Rose's computer glitch out a bit because her internet's bad, and then she goes outside. We see her going through her house to... get things set up and like passing by her mom. I'm glad that they, I've actually got a team that's bad at taking on electric types. I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to skip Surge and I'm going to, I should register my bike. Haven't done that yet. I'm going to go do another encounter before I fight Surge. But yeah, I like that they're showing little bits of these characters, introducing them while they're talking to John. I think that's a very good way to do that and have it work. What else? Really like Jade. They do such a good job with Jade and just having her be this bubbly, like, excitable friend who... Like, I love how Jade is portrayed in this. My biggest complaint, and I complained about it when we saw the, like, 1-minute teaser, is that John's getting the shit beat out of him by his dad. Like, that... I understand pragmatically they need to have an action scene. Why is my goddamn laptop getting so hot? I bought a new computer. I'm waiting for it to arrive, and hopefully that won't have problems with my laptop has been having. But like, I don't like Mr. Egbert like chucking around and beating up John, because like he's supposed to be the good parent. Like it's important like that the only parent who beats people up is Bro Strider. That Dave is different from the other two. Like that we have these joke fights and then we get a serious one where Dave gets chucked down a flight of stairs. It is fun animation. I like John getting punched out the wall by giant words and then running past them back in. I like him getting kicked out into the sky and then falling down. I love aerial fights just in general. I love that when he gets punched through a wall, he leaves his comic design on the wall as a whole and makes another one when he bursts back in. It's really just the animation is the best quality of this. That is the best thing about this comic, is how good the animation is, and how much it feels like Homestuck. Like it captures that whimsical, weird, all over the. It feels like Homestuck, and I suppose that's good enough for a Homestuck adaptation. At least it feels like Homestuck. It's weird and it's silly and it's like nothing I've seen before, and it's great. It is capturing the fact that I haven't seen it before from the original, which is good. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I do like going back to John getting chucked in the air by his dad. At least his dad catches him and keeps him from falling. So like keeping that it's just a joke fight. I don't have a burn heal, but I think Aeroblast will do good. Never mind, I'm out of Aeroblast, so I'm going to switch to you. Beedrill's my favorite Pokemon. It's so terrible though. Even with the cool blue and black coloring, I can't use it because it's just so bad. But I love Beedrill as a Pokemon, and that's a cool coloring for it. Let's see, anything else? Is Sassacre's tome? I don't remember. Is Sassacre's tome relevant enough to the plot that it's a big thing that they kind of just brushed past John picking up with and later dropping it? I don't know if they're going to like fully how much they'll adapt about like Sassacre as a character, because he's important for the backstory, but not really. And I don't really give a shit too much about Sassacre as a character. And the main role is that his big ass book gets dropped on a cat and kills it, which is dark. And yeah, I can use a Diglett. That's what I was looking for, was a ground type that would help me against Lieutenant Surge, because I've got a water type, and I've got, what's your ability, by the way? Is it good ability? Suction Cups, that's fine. I'm going to start switch training you, and I'm sorry, Shedinja, you're just, I don't know movesets good enough to throw you in against pretty much anything. Also, big fucking ending with this montage of like, wow, Jade, it's like you can see the future, and then we get a flashing of a bunch of scenes from the comic, and we see just a whole bunch of shit. We see Jack putting on the ring, we see Dave's sprite coming for Dave, we get all of the trolls, we go by all of the trolls, we got our trolls, we got Hussey slamming the... How does Hussey work? In like, will they do like recap after like the first season, like, and that's how they'll introduce Hussey? Like Hussey, honestly, thinking about it, I don't think realistically it shouldn't be Hussey. It should be Sky Haywood. It should be the head writer of the animated adaptation. But being Hussey is the pragmatic choice because A, that's a recognizable character, but B, more importantly, Hussey isn't just the author. Hussey is a character who like has a bunch of interactions with Caliborn, which would be years later if they actually adapted that. Like, so like Hussey, you have to have the narrator be the same person with the same personality, because Hussey has a lot of dialogue with Caliborn you would like to capture the feeling, if not the exact words of. So I get it. It's the pragmatic choice to have it still be Hussey. But it shouldn't just be Hussey. Maybe Hussey like says, "Wow, I'm back in the area again." Let's see, what's the Hussey should make a joke about like how Hussey. Wait, did Hussey have the white eyes? Does Hussey always have the white eyes? I don't remember. But yeah, overall, it was a great pilot. I'm very much, I hope we get a full adaptation and it's popular and it brings people to Homestuck. And not just because Homestuck as a comic being popular kind of benefits me as a person who makes video essays on Homestuck. Because, in the past month, the amount of views I'm getting doubled. Because, my videos, Homestuck's in the discourse, so people are talking about Homestuck. So they're watching my videos and giving me that ad revenue. And it's still very, very small amounts of ad revenue. It's not like it's anything notable. But hey, if a lot of people watch my next Homestuck video essay, because Homestuck is in the zeitgeist again, because it's getting a Viziepop made anime. And I say it's Viziepop's schedule. There's no Vivian Mariano, or however her last name's pronounced. There's no direct into, well, she's an executive producer and so is Toby Fox, but the point is, yeah, sure, it's good if this gets adapted. So what else going on in my life? What have I read or watched or I'm interested? I did watch through the latest season of Futurama, which was, I think it was better than the first two Hulu Futurama seasons, but still it lacks a lot. I wasn't very impressed. It was fine. It was kind of bland, but not too objectionable. But Futurama used to be really good, and they don't have that spark anymore. It isn't as bad. It could have been worse, but yeah. It was just a lot of. It was every episode of the season was a low tier Comedy Central era episode quality. Maybe even a bit worse than the worst of this Comedy Central era. Which, I mean, hey, it's slightly better than some of the Hulu episodes. They got really preachy in a few episodes, though. I get that you're making a global warming episode because that's a big fucking issue that we're facing in the modern day. I'm not complaining that you're. Also, I should just take out Surge with a team I already have. I'm not complaining that you're talking about climate change and that it's very on the nose, but just the ending, after you've really hammered in the, wow, they were so stupid, to ignore climate change in the past. The fact that it just ends with turning to the camera, and this is a problem you're facing in your time. This data is from your time. Although I did like the jokes about the polar bears, and it was an okay episode. They did a third. This was the fucking third time, by the way. This was the third time they've done the Bender. What if he was big though? They like that plot line a lot. And in the first episode where they had a joke about Bender being big, the joke was they had a joke in it. The Fry's can we see Bender but he's big again? Can we see Bender but he's big? We already saw that. Yeah, I want to see it again. I'm rambling. Well, how's my channel going? It's good. I'm doing a lot of writing. Did a bunch of writing for the Epstein video. Still writing about the Epstein video. Started filming the Batman video this morning. And I'm just working on things. And I've got, I don't know. I'm almost done with the next Homestuck video, which I still don't think I've publicly stated what character it's about, but it's about a character. And hold on, let's get so you can read that. Comment on the epilogues video with regards to Homestuck and cults. Oh boy, there are apparently Discord communities of people who have over-identified with Vriska so hard that they either have headmates of her or identify as her out there. Oh no, don't kin Vriska that hard. This is more or less the thing of being possessed Viziepop. Yeah, it's like Jesus, but with Homestuck. So I think Vriska effectively has a cult. I've met people who are like this about other Homestucks, but I don't think anyone has really organized any of the other Homestuck spiritualist types yet. Maybe Homestuck will eventually evolve to become the first time No, Homestuck's not going to become polytheistic cult. At best, we're getting a snake wives, okay? We're getting Vriska wives. 0 new characters. What about Swifer Egg Mop? Yeah, shut up. We know. I know about Swifer fucking Egg Mop. Also, actually, no. Swifer Egg Mop, not a new character. Swifer Egg Mop appeared in the original comic. So shut up. Swifer Egg Mop is an existing character from the original. She's named Swifer Egg Mop because she's mopping the eggs in the original comic at the end. I actually like Candy for the same reason I like pro wrestling. I like the insane hot mess stuff. And yeah, I just kind of figure I don't really give a shit about Jane's mind control and why she's like it. I'm over it. For this next video, I've reread a bunch of stuff with Jane of varying quality. I think I've come around to Jane as a villain. I don't think it was a good idea originally, but I do think later writers in the Beyond canon have done a good enough job writing Jane as a villain that I don't mind the change anymore. Although I do acknowledge that it was a kind of it was a messy change. But yeah, the pro wrestling, because like I just reread the epilogues, they talk a lot about pro wrestling and how Dirk sees this as pro wrestling. He sees him as doing a pro wrestling thing with Jake, and he's trying to be a wrestling heel. He's like, that's how he's getting away with it mentally. He's like, oh, I'm just a wrestling heel. I'm just pretending to be the bad guy. I'm not really evil down. And yeah, you are. You're so fucking evil. Like, yeah, you're a wrestling hall, but you're doing horrible things, Dirk. You're a piece of shit, Dirk. Anyway, I should finish up the Homestuck video this week. And then I move on to working on the fascist Batman and then the Epstein stuff. Yay!